Okay, we should be set. All right, so Jill and I are gonna.
No, just keep going. Keep
Yeah,
going.
sorry, Jill, take over because she texted back here.
Okay, sounds good. Well, what Lisa and I wanted to do is we wanted to provide all of you guys a really amazing group support network for as you advance onto team leader and beyond. We wanted to actually support you in a different way than just the one-on-one phone calls that we offer. And so what we'd like to do is we'd like to keep this very fun and positive, and we'd like to make sure that what we're doing for these sessions is encouraging you by giving you best practices, sharing ideas, letting you guys know who everybody is on the team that's also going for team leader so that you don't feel like you're the only one. Because sometimes we do. Sometimes we feel like we're all off in the little island over in Wichita or wherever, and you don't always know, it's just a better way to connect and support each other, because all of you that are on this, we personally invited you because you are amazing. You guys have shown a strong interest. You have a reason why you're doing this. You're good at what you do. And we just felt like there's money on the table that you could be earning that we want you to have because you're good enough. I mean, we see it. We see that you're good enough. You're doing the right things. You're on the right path. You might just need a little boost to get you just over that edge and to get you right where you need to be. And so what we really want to do is we want this to be amazing support. Don't want to take a ton of time. We want it to be kind of quick, positive, but impactful to help you have fun and take it to the next level.
Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and go through just a little bit, and as part of that, we're going to have you guys introduce yourselves a little bit more and get to know each other a little bit, because I think that's probably more important than almost anything that we do tonight. So I'm going to share my screen here with you, and don't be alarmed at some of the things you see on my computer. And Jill and I are not okay, that's a video from the song we were just listening to. Don't be alarmed.
Wow.
Yeah, if you see a video, do you guys ever, she's got funky videos. Anyway, so we're going to start by talking a little bit about our, some of you that have been to maybe some regional meetings or conference have seen this little diagram before. And the reason we like to show it is because I think, especially when you're trying to achieve a goal like this, it's really important to kind of know why. And Jill referenced that a little bit. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And then the second, so that's kind of what you see at the top of this diagram. This is called the prosperity cycle. And all things in life kind of start with the thing at the top, the vision, the desire, the dream. And we're gonna, like I said, go through that with each of you guys. And then once you know what your vision and desire or dream is, then you need to get excited about it, right? And that's part of what we're doing here tonight. Because I think when you get connected with people that are going through the same things that you are, that want the same things that you do, it's easier to stay excited, right? Everybody needs support. And then we'll help you guys develop a plan of action to make that work. And then we're going to probably do a lot of analyzing on these calls too, and just kind of help maybe we might need to change the plan a little bit for each one of you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide here. And can you guys see this okay?
Yeah, looks great.
Never mind.
Yeah.
All right. I want you guys to take just a moment and think about these three questions. The first is, what initially sparked your interest here with WildTree? Second is, I want you to dream big and write down what is your ultimate dream with your WildTree business. And third, I want you to just write down, how does reaching the goal of team leader help you get your end goal, that big dream that you were talking about, number 2. So just take a few minutes, jot that down. And while they do that, Jill, would you like to recognize a certain somebody that just promoted you today?
Oh my gosh, yes. As you guys are jotting down your ideas for these 3 bullet points, Elisa, congratulations, super congratulations. For those of you that have seen the Facebook posts, Elisa is our newest team leader. And I know, gosh, it was such a late night last night. We were pushing it like midnight, trying to get all the numbers in and make sure everything's going good. But she did it, and she did her 2 months qualification. So in order to get to team leader, you guys are all aware that it takes you plus 2, or ideally more than 2, but you plus 2 is the minimum, or team members, meaning all 3 of you together doing 3,500 in 1 month. But you need to do that 2 months in a row, and then Wildtree starts then paying you on that second month, starts paying you the higher percentage, which is the 40%, 12% on directs, and then 7% on indirects. So what I love is that Elisa took her business to the next level, and she did the work with her team to get there, and got there to that level. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
And she's on this call because she wants support in maintaining team leader and staying there and making sure her team keeps growing strong. So yes. Even though she's newly promoted to team leader, and this call series is ideal for getting to team leader, it's really ideal that we maintain it as well. So
thank you, Jill. Thanks.
All right, so you guys have a little bit of time. I know not a lot of time to write down the answers to those questions, and I would love for you guys to just take turns and share just a couple minutes, if that, for each person, because we do have a little bit of other stuff we want to go through. So, is anybody willing to go first?
I can go first.
All right, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Elisa. I guess what initially sparked my interest with Wildtree was, just setting my family up and then helping other families up with a great meal plan. I did a couple workshops with Jill, and I just loved the freedom that it gave our family, and the options, and the healthy options and delicious options. So that's kind of what sparked my interest. And then, like I said, sharing it with other people was really, really important to me. As far as dreaming big, I guess I would just love to influence other women like me, but also other families through teaching. I used to be a social studies teacher, high school social studies teacher, and so continuing that teaching, and then passionate about health and getting families around the table. So just reaching as many people as I can through Wildtree in the business, and then just in their homes. And then how does reaching the School of Team Leader help you? I guess, more people I can get on my team, I can influence, and then the more families that we can influence as well. So that's
awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Welcome.
Who's next?
I can go. This is Danielle. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So originally I started with Wildtree, also with Jill, went to Freeze and Meal Workshop, had one of my own, and then I signed up to be a rep. I work full time, but I liked the product, and I'm not big into cooking. I didn't grow up learning how to cook. My mom did all the cooking, or, I didn't really do a whole lot of cooking. So it was a good way for me to still make decent meals, healthier, to have a healthier lifestyle. So that has been that was my main interest. My ultimate goal with Wildtree is to grow. I don't plan on doing this as necessarily a full-time job, but still just to grow within the business and to learn more and, get Wildtree out to more people. A kind of extra income has been great. Bought a house about 1.5 years ago, so just trying to do little projects and such. And reaching the goal to be for team leader would help me just grow within Wildtree, to cook more, to get it, Wildtree out to more people. So I'm looking forward to growing more in the upcoming months.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Okay. All right. How about, I'm going to put one of my gals on the spot. Jenna, you ready?
Sure.
Okay.
I guess what initially caught my attention from Wild Tree was honestly the financial opportunity. I just when I first started, I was younger. I don't know. It was what, 4 years ago. Lisa, is that right? Initially.
So. This is our
and
third time around, so.
yes, yes. And it was just the idea of, hey, I can actually, make some money. I like the product. I like this. And then, I got married and we bought a house. And now it's the idea of, keeping that feeling of living paycheck to paycheck. I don't like that feeling. So Wild Tree has offered me that opportunity to move past that. And so I think, my goal with Wild Tree is to get past that and to actually feel like, okay, things are going to be okay. We're not living paycheck to paycheck. And, by reaching team leader or even above, obviously that higher rank means a greater income. And so it sounds greedy, but that's just kind of, for me, that's my motivation.
Awesome. Okay. Christy or Diana, are you guys able to go? Oh, we have some people with some technological complications. Christy, are you able to hear me yet?
I can hear you through my phone.
Okay, there we go. Did you catch the 3 questions that we're doing?
Yes, I did.
Okay, are you ready to share?
Are you still on the first one?
Yep. Actually, you can go ahead and answer all 3. You can go ahead and answer all 3. So.
Yeah.
What initially interested me was the organic aspect of it and the healthiness of it. I'm trying to get my family to be eating better, more clean eating, more vegetables and fruits, and just more healthy options instead of convenient processed foods. And as far as the ultimate dream, I'm still pretty hesitant, so I'm not exactly sure I know what that is yet. I would like to just build a team, and then the thought of earning a vacation is motivating for me. And then also what I was hoping to do with this too is just to meet some new people, and it's a little different atmosphere than my day job, and just being around more people and meeting more people that have the same interests as I do.
Awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Who have we missed here? There's some numbers on the screen that I can't tell who they belong to. So jump on in, whoever we're missing.
I haven't gone yet. I'm Jamie.
Okay.
And my initial interest with Wild Tree was the health aspect of it. I am a personal trainer and a lifestyle coach, so it fit really well with pretty much what I'm trying to do for my lifestyle and what I'm trying to do for those that I work with. So that's still kind of my big dream, is to help people in their health journey. Whether it's with the lower sodium aspects of things, if it's organic, and hopefully eventually helping them be able to bring that to their families. So by reaching team leader, I can definitely help other people get there through myself and a team. So.
Awesome. Am I missing anybody else? Okay, I think we got everybody. If we're missing somebody, jump in. Going once, twice. Okay, perfect. Jill referenced this a little bit, but this is a chart. We're actually going to email this to you, so don't get too excited about, oh my gosh, I don't know where I'm going to get this. We're going to email it to you. This is just a really kind of quick overview of what Jill was explaining about how to get to team leader. As she mentioned, it's you plus 2, okay? And it's, for those of us that have been around a little bit, we know that it's probably going to be more than 2 or 3 people or that do it with you. Really what you're looking for, if you look at that goal section down there in the lower left-hand corner, you're looking for a combined total of 10 to 12 tastings or freezer meal workshops in a month. Now, in addition to that, if you look below that, you need 2 people on your team in addition to yourself that are bonus qualified, and that means that you have $350 in sales. So you just need 2 people that are doing parties, essentially. But there's a number of ways that this can happen. Okay, you can be doing 8 parties a month, and your team can do 4. You can do 6, and they can do 6 between them all. You can do 4, they can do 8. There's a lot of different ways that looks like, but and it can certainly happen with fewer parties and workshops on the calendar as well. But this is a really, really, really good guideline to ensure that it does happen. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. So moving on. So again, we'll send that to you. I know this is blurry. I couldn't find a good example of this. But this is just a really, really quick overview of how much your paycheck changes, right? And I think a number of you mentioned financial stuff as you guys were going through. How much your paycheck changes when you go for team leader. If for the same amount of work, what this shows is in the top part here. Can you guys see my mouse right here? Mm-hmm. In the top part here, as a representative, if you max out the scale, which is 32%, which means you have $2,000 in sales and a team member, right? Then you'll make $640 on that $2,000, right? Then let's say you have a couple reps that are doing some work underneath you, as it shows here. All in all, if you look at this, the team sales are $3,500, and as a rep, before being paid as a team leader, you'll make a paycheck of $685, okay? Not too shabby. I'm sure you guys would spend that, right? Figure out something to do with it. But what if you could have more for the same amount of work? So if you look at the bottom example here, it just shows a team leader paycheck. That same team leader, that same person is doing $2,000 in sales themselves. Instead of 32%, they earn 40%, like Jill said earlier. So just off of that alone, they're making $800 instead of $640, just off their sales. Like, who would want $800 versus $640?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you look at the bottom, again, those reps are doing the same amount of, I lost my mouse, the same amount of work, but you're just getting paid more on them. Instead of 12% here, or up here you get paid 3%, down here 12%. And I know this may not make sense at first glance. The whole point here is for the same amount of work, you make more money, right? So
right. That's what we're talking about. We don't want you to leave that money on the table, because those of you that are pulling in $1,000 or more a month, that's almost halfway to team leader right there.
Right,
so,
in sales,
right, in sales. And it just seems to make sense to go for just not that much more effort gets you, you know what I'm saying, gets you more income. I mean, it's just sort of a no-brainer. You're just leaving that money on the table and it's not going anywhere. So take it. It's yours.
Right. Jill, do you want to explain this one? You want to explain this picture? This
is a live example that I didn't have time to pull Elisa's numbers, but Carolyn is she's a part of the Sullivan Nation under Karen Gleason. Anyway, she had promoted to team leader, and she was amazed because her paycheck was $500 or less. Prior, she did the same amount of tastings. She did the same amount of effort, calling, different things like that. Same thing. But because she shared the business with other people, and because she reached out and had people join the mission of Wild Tree, she then did the same amount of parties in September that she did in August, and she was then able to almost make $1,000 versus $580. And it's just, it's amazing. I mean, and this is a minimum. This is a minimum. From there, it grows because they're going to share the business with other people too. So it's really, really cool and making a difference, and it's getting to more meaningful money. So this is a live example, a true number, very true numbers, just so you know that this isn't made up.
So just a quick question. Who would take the $937 over the $580?
Of course.
I would.
I had a couple, come on, that's a weak response. Who would take the $937 over the $580?
I would.
For
I
sure.
would.
Still a weak response. Come on, guys.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi. Okay.
I don't know what that was, but okay. So some of you may be sitting here thinking, okay, that's great. I would love to do that, but I'm not quite sure how. My calendar isn't exactly where it needs to be. So let's talk about how to make that happen here. So there's really only 2 steps to doing this. Would you agree, Jill? It's booking parties and workshops and building your team. And I know that sounds simpler than maybe it actually is when you dig down into it, but really it is that simple. Those are the only 2 things you guys need to worry about. So let's dive in a little bit more with the first thing. So for each of you guys, I think if we were to go around the room, and we won't do this, I'm sure everybody has a different number of parties on their schedule and a different number of people on your team. So for each of you, this is where you want to work specifically with Jill or myself to figure out what the best plan is for you. But for each of you guys, some of you might need to focus more on building your team than on parties. Right away, right out of the gates. But either way, don't neglect one or the other. They both go hand in hand. Does that make sense? So this is part of the action plan. I'm going to shoot over a document on email that just helps you think of different people to follow up with. And I know that this is a little wordy. I was typing this out this afternoon, and I should have came back and made it more pleasant to look at. But I want you to think about 4 categories of people. People who you think would benefit or be blessed by the business opportunity. Okay? And I'm going to stretch you guys here. I want you to think of 10 people that fall into that category. I know you guys know them, and sometimes we're just afraid to write that name down, or sometimes we just don't think of it. But the first 5 people on your team are probably people that you walk by every day or know in your life very, very well. The second category of people I want you to think about are people that you would love to share WildTree with because you think it could help them in some way, but they've never been exposed to it. Okay? So all of you are fairly new yet. Every single one of you has people on your list, I'm sure, that fall into that category. And then number 3, I want you to think of your dream hosts, people that would open up some new markets for you. What I mean by that is if you think about that Circles of Influence document, which hopefully all of you guys have seen, like think of different people that would introduce you to different people. It's great if your mom hosts for you over and over and over again, but she probably invites your aunts and your sister, right? And that's great. What we're really, I think, wanting you guys to do is break out of that and get into some new markets. Make sense? And then the last category is just WildTree fans, and that should be pretty easy to come up with, right? So just think of those people, and from those people, you're gonna be able to get some bookings and probably have some people join your team. And we'll talk a little bit more about how to do that in your one-on-one calls with me and Jill. Any questions on that? Okay, perfect. So that does not happen without doing some calls. And here's the dreaded word, calls.
No, not calls.
And I wanted to
actually have to talk to people.
yes, unfortunately, yeah. I mean, you guys are all pretty good looking people, but even with being so good looking, you're still gonna have to call them. They're probably not just gonna walk up to you and say, I want to join your team. So, but I put this in here because I think we've probably all heard of the 10 calls a day system. I think everybody on here should have heard of that. And I know that there's probably some deep down moans and groans when you hear this, but in all honesty, it really, when the rubber meets the road, we just need to pick up the phone. And I do think that there's a big payoff for people that are consistent with this. So I put the statistic in here because I think sometimes when we do this, we just give up too early. So truly, 80% of the sales really do. There's statistics over and over and over again that prove this. They happen on or after the 5th point of contact. So how does that apply to what we do? Literally, when I'm doing bookings, it just happened to me last night. I was calling people that I had met this past weekend. I actually did get a hold of one person on the first contact and booked her. And then there was some other phone calls that I was doing that were on my call number 4. And it was the 4th point of contact before I heard from them and got a booking, right? But if I had given up on number 1 or on the 2nd or 3rd contact, right, I wouldn't have that booking. So to stick with it, right? Make sense?
Yeah.
Right. Good deal. And the last thing, whoops. Oh, maybe that was the last thing. Either that or my computer froze up. So based on that, Jill, I'm going to kick it back to you.
Okay, great. So we're going to wrap up pretty soon, but what we wanted this first call to accomplish is we wanted to get to know each other and why we're doing this, but we also wanted to make sure and give you some basic bullet points of what you need to do to just get your calendar full, because that's where it all starts, is with a full calendar. And then from there, you're going to start to see the results. When you have more people to ask and more people to be in front of, your business grows really fast. And that's one thing that a lot of us don't probably realize because maybe you haven't experienced it yet, but when it's kind of a numbers game. When you're exposed to enough people, you get results, whether you're on purpose about it, but it just helps get you there faster. And when you get there faster, it's just more fun. And I'm kind of all about the fun. I like to make it fun because a lot of us on the call here have full-time jobs and they're not as fun. So it's exciting and it's impactful and it can be fun. And yeah, it's a little work, but the results are so worth it that when you'll get there, you'll see. And it's hard to explain it because you're not there yet. But once you get there, it'll be really exciting. So,
awesome. So I got my last 2 slides up here.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully I can. So I do want to say, we didn't share this at the beginning, how Jill and I know each other.
Yeah.
And I want to share this because I think it's important for a lot of you guys to realize that Jill and I, when Jill called me to ask me to join her team, and I told her no, right, Jill?
Yeah.
I told you no a couple different times.
I think you said I swore off direct marketing forever.
I did. And I don't think I used such nice words. So
maybe not.
But I say that because after Jill knew our situation, and honestly, I can look back, we were broke. We were worse than broke. We were going backwards every single month. And not only that, I had really been struggling with confidence, and Jill knew that, and she kept bringing that up. And finally I said yes, and it's probably the best decision that I've ever made, and I'm so thankful that Jill didn't give up on me. But I want you guys to know that, because I think sometimes we look at our friends' situations and we think, on the outside we looked great, but on the inside we were a broken family. And I'm so thankful that Jill was persistent enough. Mm-hmm. Persistence is the right word. Thoughtful enough, loved us enough to not give up on me when I said no the first however many times I said no. So think about that, because you guys have people in your lives right now that this very moment that you can join arms with. And Jill and I call ourselves running buddies. It is so fun to do this with a friend, guys.
I know, because we get to take trips together.
Yes,
and we go through our conferences and we get to hang out. We're 5 hours we don't see each other because we're 5 hours apart. So we don't get to see each other often. And by the way, we are college roommates. So yeah. I knew her from college.
Yes.
Which of course was just yesterday.
Right. Yes, it was. We had our kids early, right?
Silly.
So that being said, guys, you will know pretty quickly that Jill and I are not techies, so I can't figure out how to go back and show you. Oh, there it is. To show you the screen. So I'm going to finish up really, really quick. So I went through all of that to say there are people that we need to just invite to join your team, guys. They will join your team. I think sometimes we get hung up in the fact of like, gosh, I don't know enough about Wild Tree yet, or I don't know what the perfect words to say. And I think I just want to tell you guys, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. Does that make sense? I really had to think about that. It's getting late. So every Sunday night, the company offers these great opportunity calls, guys. Grab a friend, plug into it. what the heck? Why not? Try it. You never know. Up in our area, we actually have a fun event coming up on March 20th. If you guys, and as a matter of fact, for those of you that live in different areas, if you know somebody in the Twin Cities area, we're doing a fun guest event on Monday, March 20th. So you can certainly plug people into that. And the whole goal there is just to help expand our teams. Because guys, if honest to God, if Jill had not asked me or to do this, and I saw her now 6 years later going on all these trips without me, I'd be pretty angry that she hadn't asked me to join her team. I mean,
And I'd be so sad.
There's a different word coming to mind, but I'd be really upset if she hadn't asked. So there's people in your life, guys, that are watching you and are thinking, I just want her to ask me. And she hasn't asked me. Like, why hasn't she asked me? Doesn't she think I can do this? Like, that's what
Right.
she's thinking. So the last thing I want to just wrap up with here is, God dang, just technical issues tonight. Is some homework. We couldn't do this without a little bit of homework, right? So everybody is that I went right through it. Bear with me again. So there's a couple short videos that we're gonna send you guys on email. Super short, super impactful. That I think, to me, they're just motivational. And I don't know about you guys, but every now and then I just need a little bit of that motivation. We want you guys to get to the point that you're jumping out of bed and just can't wait to touch your Wild Tree business, because it is that exciting, guys. What you have your hands on is that cool. Jamie's smiling. It really is, Jamie.
No.
The second thing is, I don't know where everybody's calendar is here, but I want you guys to, I don't care where it is, but I want you to book 2 more parties or workshops for March, okay? It's March 1st. We are at the brand new month. So go ahead and do that. If you're not sure where to start, if you're not sure who to call, get on the phone with Jill or I, okay? And then the third thing, these are easy things, guys. Third thing is make a list of 5 people that you would love to have on your team, okay? And you have my permission to be more than 5. It can be 10 or 15. And then just make that list and say, why would you love to have them on your team? And then what benefit could Wild Tree provide for them? So and the reason I wanted you guys to answer those 2 questions is those are the 2 things that when you've written those responses, that's exactly what you're going to turn around and say to them when you call them. Like, hey, Jill, I thought of you because, I know you're staying home with your kids and you've been looking for maybe something to get out of the house. And I just think that Wild Tree could provide you an opportunity to get out and have some fun and drink some wine with some great ladies. Like, literally, if you answer those 2 questions, it's going to tell you exactly what to say. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great. And then I also wanted to tell you before we jump off is that by adding, it's early in the year, and for those of you that are motivated by trips, we are going to Panama next year with Wild Tree. The beaches of Panama are gorgeous and very exclusive. So I really encourage you to think of the trip, and on our one-on-one calls, we can talk about making sure you are set up for a strategy for earning the trip, because when you're going for team leader, it kind of falls into place that you're not that far away from earning the trip.
Absolutely.
So this is a journey that can get you more than just income, and not, it's not that far out of reach. So anyway, come trip it with us. Beaches.
Yes. So as I said earlier, we have a free service that's going to run out like any second now. So if you get abruptly cut off, it's not because Jill and I are mad at you or anything like that. We just ran out of our free time. But I think that's it. So guys,
yes, thank you.
A wonderful, wonderful week. Check back here next Wednesday. We're going to start with some of your successes, and you're probably going to have some questions.